Would you take a check? All night. Thank you.
Now, I heard there was a party going on here today. Can someone tell me where the party's at today? Where's the party at? Whose party is it? I said, whose party is it? Becky, you need to tell them whose party it is. Come on. Y'all ready?
I have great news for you. You see all those dollar amounts?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
What?
Winner just gets a pat on the back, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Will?
It's a pretty good pat on the back. I bet
It's a firm one. It's a firm one.
Pork spar for 800.
Pork spar,
I think you're gonna have to get it.
800.
Oh, I mean, it's come on.
All right, here we go. This type of berry gives gin its flavor. Will?
What is juniper?
Juniper is correct. Yeah, very good.
Let's finish the category.
All right, Cork's Bar for $1,000. Van Gogh is said to be drinking this powerful green drink when he sliced his ear. Will?
What is absinthe?
Absinthe is correct. It's plugged in now, but I think he just got you. I hope he got to you quicker. All right.
I would never forgive myself if I didn't examine the Stand By Me category for 400.
For 400?
Yes, please.
Stand By Me for 400. In the 1996 film Romeo and Juliet, she stood opposite Leo DiCaprio as the female lead.
Yeah.
Jason.
Who's Claire Danes?
Claire Danes. Very good.
Goals, or do we just do cents? Is that...
You can do cents. You know what? You can do whatever you want there. Do cents. Put it in there. If you want a decimal place, that's fine too.
Jamaican dollars versus American dollars.
Now, when you're done with your wager, just take it off, put it to the side, flip it over. Let me know you're done. Very good. Okay? And here is your question. A critic said that this best-selling author makes me wish there were more than 26 letters. About 30 seconds, and here we go.
And I'm sure my answer is wrong, but I guessed. Who is Harper Lee?
Harper Lee is incorrect.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't bet any money then!
Who is...
Oh!
J.K. Rowling, and you wagered all of it, just as Jason did, and that is unfortunately incorrect as well. So at this time, I will throw it out to the audience. They all know it. Sue Grafton. Very well done. What did you wager? No, everything. All right. Which means it stands even with his zero wager, $18,100 fake dollars to Will Wheaton. He is our winner. A big hand for Jonathan and Jason Isaacs as well. Thank you to all of you gentlemen. Thank you so much for doing this. For Jeopardy, folks, we hope to see you up for the pool. The Rise the Festival New Party starts at 10:30. Have a great night. We'll see you around the ship, everybody.
I'm going to talk a little bit about some individual episodes, if that's okay, before we go out to the audience. So first question is for Gates, actually. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's the episode that you directed, Genesis, which is almost, it's very unusual for a TNG episode. It's almost like a Hammer film. It's like a little horror movie on the Enterprise. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about putting that together.
Well, what was really great is that I was able to stage an earthquake that happened in Northridge at that time. It was right in the middle of our filming. It actually was it was brutal. A lot of the people on the crew lost their houses, and it was really tough. So one of the things that was really difficult, remember that? It was like, yeah, right in the middle. That was tough because I was up at 5 ready to go with my notes and the whole house was shaking. But what I loved was how they gave me an episode. I loved the episode. I loved what Bronna did, and he was open to changing a couple of things, which was great. Like instead of having Troy in the bubble bath, I said, yeah, but it'd be creepier and scarier. Her hair is molting off, and she's turning into another animal, and she's upside down in a uniform. People think she might be dead, and she was game. She just went for it, you know, And Jonathan had to stay for like 24 hours in this makeup. It was brilliant, I must say. The makeup yes, perfect. I thought that what the actors did was astonishingly wonderful. They really gave me something where people would just do a really wonderful movement, like Dwight the Spider was. But I mean, Michael Westmore should have won an Emmy for the makeup he did on that show. I think it was.
Where's the king? Is the king here?
I mean, there was the one guy, everybody was really great. Everybody said, I'll never do it again. But the one guy that whined so much was Colin Meaney. Because we did an episode where Colin and Renee and Avery had to get into full Klingon makeup. And if you know Colin, it's like he's got that Irish thing, and he would, you know.
He is Irish.
No, I mean. And that's why he has the thing.
The thing comes from.
It's where the thing is from Ireland.
That's it.
The Irish thing.
Tough room. Yeah, this is why I love these guys so much. We work together so well, and we're so happy. May I? That was a good shot, wasn't it?
Did you want notes on this, or are you good with where it's going?
You know,
Is there more?
Klingon-wise, when I started there in 1987, Gene Roddenberry hired me, and we took off. Brent Spiner was the first one I had to deal with because we had tests to do. I said, on a Thursday, I said, I want to think about it, whether I want the job or not. And he said, on Monday, we'll start doing makeup tests on Brent Spiner. So I had the weekend, not the weekend to think about it. We made up our mind on Friday. I called Marion right away and said, what do you think? She says, let's do it because, you know, it's not going to last very long. I had been out with Stallone and De Niro and doing shows, and I said, yeah, maybe a year or two. The other one only went that far. And I'll be back on the road again. So, but it gave me the opportunity to stay home. And a lot of you are familiar with my daughter Mackenzie. She was just little then. Gave me the opportunity to stay home and at least watch her grow up, which I didn't with Michelle and Michael because I was always on the road. Anyways, with the Klingons, Michael was number one. And the first, actually, this would have worked great because the first concept was he was going to shave his head and we were going to glue, the bones on it. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. He doesn't want to be walking around like that for 7 years. Or at least 6 months, maybe. A couple of years. So I designed that first forehead. It was half. It came down to the eyes here and went back high enough on his head, but back further so he could at least have a lot of bare Klingon forehead and expose all the bones all the way up. So I got started on that. We did the first one. Did a test, put the forehead on. Didn't look right. Went back to Roddenberry, said, can I add a nose to them? He said, sure. So we added the nose to Michael. And then we get him all made up, and he smiles, and he's got beautiful, he still has those same beautiful white teeth. Wow. So, he's got dirty, nasty tobacco dentures we had. And that was the very first beginning of it. And then as we went on from there, and there was a second Klingon and the third one, I had to find something to be able to follow a pattern. And that was, I found a book of dinosaur vertebrae that were cut in half. So every Klingon forehead from Michael on was some type of dinosaur vertebrae cut in half. Michael also had, I want to say, the standard Klingon from our past history, which I love doing, was being able to bring our past things up to date, maybe make them a little bit more film friendly. But Michael had the typical Klingon beard and mustache. But from that point on, aside from using that one too, I found a book on hairstyling and facial hair of the Elizabethan theater. And so every Klingon from that point on, if it wasn't the standard one like Michael had some type of beard or mustache design. You know, we started to put beads in them and do something different along the way. Plus I had maybe 50 different styles of Klingon foreheads that I could mix and match and change around. So that's how the Klingon came about.
And since we're performers, our egos are so involved with our faces and our physicality and everything. So you have to give in to it and look in the mirror, whether you're whatever, a Klingon or a Kardashian or whatever. You just have to accept it, let it go, and then the character evolves and comes out of it. I've told this story before, but I can't resist that. Before I knew I was going to do it, and before we actually started shooting it, I was doing a TV film, and we were in, it was Czechoslovakia, but it was, anyway, Roddy McDowell was in the film as well, and we were having lunch together one day, and I said to him, Roddy, I know that you did Planet of the Apes, as Michael was talking about, and I said, that must have been an incredible ordeal. He did the film, and he did the TV series, and at that time, before makeup had been developed to a degree that maybe it wouldn't be quite as uncomfortable or take as long, that was a huge thing. We all read stories about how long it, that you couldn't pee for the day. I don't know why it wouldn't that would not. But sometimes there are makeups and costumes that do that. But I said, so how did you, I'm going to be doing this show, and by then there was a good chance, unlike when Michael was talking about starting Star Trek, there was a chance that this show was going to run for the 7 years. I said, so do you have any suggestions or recommendations? What did you do with that about the makeup? And he said, I thought about the money. And that sounds funny, but it is a good mantra when it's 4:30 in the morning and someone is putting this cold glue onto your whole face before putting the mask on. And but yes, I can't imagine how I would have ever played the character if Michael hadn't given me one of the primary things of an actor's toolkit is the face, and he gave me that, and I had the training to know how to use the mask once I had it on. So there you go.